If a stranger in a coffee shop asked you, "When has God shown up in your life?" you might find the question a little odd. But if you paused, chances are you'd have a story to tell. At St. Mark's, we believe God is at work everywhere, and everyone has a God encounter story. Inspired by StoryCorps, this Lent we're introducing GodCorps, an opportunity to record a short interview and share an experience of God at work in your life. We'd love to hear your story.
Hi, my name is Sue Steele, and I'm here with Elaine Springer, and I'm going to do a little interview with her. We, together with other people, were on a tour in England in 2025, and she's going to give you some background.
Okay, it was a trip that we ended up going to two different cathedrals, one in Durham and one in Ely. It was actually, I think, in 2022.
22, yes, okay.
Yeah, and we had to take the trip from Durham to Ely, which was a long trip, and we got on the bus, and our driver, Colin, told us that he was going to have to stop after about 3 hours, because by law, he was not allowed to drive for longer than 3 hours without having a rest period. So he had figured out so that there was a nice rest stop for us, and we had about a half an hour break at this rest stop.
The rest stop was really quite immense, much bigger than what we expected. Large car park, very large buildings where you could buy food, buy toys, buy games. It was just a huge spot. And we had a lot of time to have a little break.
And the way that the buildings were set up for this rest stop, they were kind of above where the parking lot was, and there was a good-sized curb around the parking lot.
Yes.
And so we all got out of the bus and started traipsing up toward the buildings because we wanted to see what they had. And as we were doing so, one of our elderly choristers either misjudged her step or whatever. She fell at the curbing and got a pretty good gash in her leg in a very awkward spot right by her ankle and on her shin. And she also banged her head.
And we were kind of in a group that was not all bunched together, so didn't really know that it happened right away. Turned around and she was sitting down on a curb in pain and in the midst of cars and hard to see from the building, and we didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also a nurse, and I had some little tiny Band-Aids that I could have used, but they were nowhere near big enough to fit the need. And plus, her wound needed to be cleaned out a little bit. And the driver, Colin, had a bigger first aid kit with some bigger bandages, but they still were not sufficient for us.
So we're all looking about like, what to do now? And tell us.
And suddenly this man appeared out of nowhere with like a knapsack of supplies, with medical supplies. He opened it up, and he had first aid cream. He had bandages dressings that would fit over the gash. They were big enough. He was very kind. He kind of helped her clean the wound out a little bit and put some cream on there and put one of the dressings on and told her she needed to probably just leave it on 24 hours and then change it.
You know, I remember the dressing. It was like a spider.
It was, yes.
It was huge with flanges all around, so it could mold onto a place like a shin or an ankle.
And it would stick.
Yes.
It wouldn't come off, it was amazing what he had. I'd never seen anything quite like it. But it was really interesting because then he also gave her an ice pack because she had hurt her nose when she fell, and so it had a little bit of a cut on it, but not too bad. But he gave her an ice pack so that she could put it on her nose and not quite have that much pain from that, at least.
So in the midst of all this, we're like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And we asked him, what do you do? Is this your job? And he said, I'm a carer. And we all looked at each other because that's not a word we use exactly in America. But apparently it is a word that is used for someone who helps others, can be a nurse, but often it's not a professional job.
Yeah, I don't think they're professionally trained. I don't know exactly but it's somebody that has, apparently they have authority to help others when they're in time of need like this.
Yes.
And they have equipment for it. And so we said, well, that's really nice. And we asked him his name. His name was Nigel. And what was interesting was, we just didn't know. He just kind of appeared, and he didn't come from anywhere that we could see. I mean, we didn't know for sure. I saw a car that was right adjacent to our parking lot where our bus was. I thought I saw him pulling something out of the trunk, but it didn't really register with us what he was doing and why he was doing it. He just came over. He saw that we had a need, and he came over and served.
And then he kind of vanished, actually.
Really, he just, all of a sudden he was there, and then he wasn't. It was very strange. He never said goodbye or shook our hands or anything like that. Like usually when you're meeting somebody like that, this is what happens. And he just, all of a sudden we just realized we were kind of taking care of our person with her problems, and suddenly he wasn't there. And it was just odd.
It was, we both looked at each other and kind of went, was he an angel?
Yeah.
We felt like he came out of nowhere at God's request and he was gone.
Yeah.
And certainly helped our friend because she was able to heal quickly after that occasion. So it was really a wonderful moment.
Thank you for listening to this episode of St. Mark's Episcopal Church, GodCore. If you would like to record one of these episodes and tell your story about how you've experienced God, please use the link in the notes to schedule your time. We look forward to hearing your story, and we hope that you continue to tune in to hear ours. Thank you, and God bless you.